greet you and welcome to yet another exciting edition of your favorite business development program on radio, Masterclass. Masterclass is powered by Joy Business and brought to us by Goyle. Goyle, good energy, Goyle, Yenara, Yedia. Masterclass today is also brought to us by JL Properties. JL Properties, the city's favorite developer. If you're looking to go into real estate or get a home or get a building or get anything of a sort that represents a home, by all means do talk to JL Properties today because they are definitely the city's favorite developer. Masterclass comes your way every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. and runs all the way through to 2:15 p.m. here on your superstation Joy 99.7. My name is Yaw Barnafo and I'm happy to be your host for today's edition of Masterclass. We continue our conversation today on artificial intelligence in business. Last week we were looking at artificial intelligence and how it affects customer experience and how we can use all of that to make the customer experience memorable. Like Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said to them, what you gave them, even the things you did for them. One thing they will never forget though is how you made them feel, So that's why we talk about customer experience today and not customer service, because the perspective has changed from offering a service, from the person who offers you that service across the counter to the person who receives the service. And like I said at the beginning of this conversation, we're all customers at some point. So when you ask yourself who's the customer is not that person at the other side of the glass. It's all of us. We're all customers at some point. And the earlier we begin to work together to make that experience memorable, the better it is for all of us. I have back here with me in the studio, should I say our regular, our now resident AI tech person, Kobby, Spiky, Nkrumah, who's also the host of Geek Squad and a tech consultant. Today we continue our conversation on artificial intelligence in business. I was just telling Kobby before we came on air that my highlight for this week, and we were talking about, I tried to get some voice notes last week. We shared them from people of renown in industry who are in the industry, who are in IT, who are in AI, should I say, or informational security and all of that. They shared their thoughts with us on how AI is much closer to us than we think as a people. And my highlight of the week was I attended the Ghana CEO Summit at which OFM was present, and one of the speeches from one of the companies was developed by AI. So they just put the topics in there, and the bot just wrote the speech around the topical pointers that were put there. And all they said to the bot was, write us a 1,000-page speech. And yes, the bot just did exactly that. They looked at it and it was fine. Now they asked themselves, can we go ahead to have the bot deliver that speech? And there's technology today in AI that allows the AI technology to mimic voice. So for example, I've been speaking for about a minute now. That technology allows the AI to listen to my voice for all of 3 seconds. 3 seconds. And then it can mimic it, and you listening won't be able to tell the difference. Yes, I know there are questions in your mind. What about fraud? What about this? What about that? Yes, all of those concerns have come up. But this is what happened at the summit. The AI actually went ahead to deliver the speech using a short video it had picked of the person delivering the speech. And of course, like Kobby said, it didn't look 100% like it was a human doing it, but it sure looked more than 80%. And that's where we're going. Kobby, that was my highlight of the week. Coming back to AI in business and how much closer it is to us than ever before. Let's continue our conversation, if you will. I mean, I know there were some questions last week. You can start with that, if you will. But by all means, let's go straight back into our conversation.
Sure.
Yeah.
So just to recount what we've been discussing over the weeks, we've spoken about how businesses, some of the AI tools that businesses can use or the technologies. We've spoken about chatbots, which are AI-powered programs that can simulate conversation with human users. So if you have, let's say, your clients who come to your business to try and have conversations with a customer service representative of some sort, and you can't always have someone present to have this conversation, and that can also, like you said, it's how you make people feel. That can impact how the person feels about your business. And just last Tuesday, I was with I actually saw on social media a person complaining about a food place where they had requested for a certain meal that was on the menu, and the person said in a very rash tone that they didn't have some available. Remember what I said last week, that some is not there?
The entire week I was thinking about what you said, that they'll ask you what you want, they'll go back and come back and tell you some is not there.
And
where's some?
Where's some? We're still trying to find where some is. So if we do find some, maybe AI can help us find where some is. But that's this experience had the person come on social media to rant. Now, if you're not lucky and a person's not diplomatic enough, they put your brand out there. They talk about how your brand made them feel. And if that person is influential enough, it affects your brand, eventually. And that is not
And
good.
whether or not they're influential, once it appears online,
Yeah,
the AI or the chatbot, if you're asking for reviews of your own brand, will pick up those sentiments
Exactly.
as well. Even if it's less than 1%, it's there.
it's there.
Because the internet never forgets.
And I will never forget. Thank you for that. So, and then we talked about how AI does all these things, which is through machine learning, and it allows computers to learn without being explicitly programmed, which is when we compared this to automation, where you've programmed it to do A, B, C, D to Z. And what happens when it realizes that there's no F, G, H, I, J, K? What does it do? It just gives you an error and it shuts down. Versus an AI which would realize, okay, so there's no F, G, H, I, J, K. What else can I do to get to Z? So that's the difference between automation and implementing AI. So you can even do automation with AI that reduces your, error rates. It can reduce faults and avoid risks because somebody's hand is there. An AI should be able to detect if you programmed it well and realize that, hey, I'm not going to land this metal here because there's a hand there and all that kind of thing. You can't do that. And just like you mentioned, natural language processing, which you experienced at a CEO summit, where someone's voice or how we speak naturally was processed and an AI is able to deliver a speech that hitherto you would have required the person to be there. So imagine that you're a globetrotter, you're always in a different country at X point in time, and you're required to give a speech here, you're required to talk there, and they can't get you. But hey, I have an AI that's been trained to be me, and I can just deploy that AI to give that speech on my behalf, and also simulate my mannerisms, simulate my voice, simulate my delivery, even some of the nuances. If you're lucky, you get an AI that can copy your nuances. It can do some of the things that you do, say things how you'd say it. If you're somebody who likes to say, if you're not lucky, you have an AI that will continue repeating that just to sound like you, And yeah, these are the things that AI can do. And we did talk about computer vision as well.
You put, at the end of everything you say.
Put, at the end of everything. You have the AI repeating that to just try and be like you. And that achieves its goal, basically. And then computer vision, which is a field of computer science that deals with extracting images. And we did demonstrate even how to even extract text. So you have computer that can detect text in an image, extract it. You can have OCR software programmed into your system. So grabbing invoices and filing them digitally shouldn't be difficult, where you need to buy a scanner, constantly feeding your invoices in there to do your record taking into your database. You can automate all these processes with AI, with some of these tools, to make your process more efficient. So today we promised that we were going to give the listeners examples of these tools that they can get and use themselves to improve their businesses, to improve their workflow, and reduce their workload. So if you're listening, we've mentioned a lot of times since this whole AI buzz started, ChatGPT. And I know students the world over have fallen in love with ChatGPT because of how easy it makes their schoolwork.
I know students here in the University of Ghana who do their assignments on ChatGPT.
Yes. There are a lot of
And
students.
if you're a student and you're listening, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. The world is moving at a fast pace. You might as well line up. I mean, I'm not saying that people shouldn't read and learn again, but now when you ask a question to a student, what's the biggest mammal in the ocean? Then they go to Google, ask Google. I mean, I have my issues with that.
Yeah.
But there's an easier way to do it. You put your assignments in ChatGPT and it gives you the answers.
Which is very true. So for those who've probably used it, students who probably used it, some have also realized that it's not always correct. ChatGPT can make mistakes. And even if you...
Because it's mechanical.
Yes, because it's trained on data that hasn't been proofread, to say the least. Like, it hasn't been evaluated, it hasn't been moderated. It's just data that has been fed to it. And sometimes we even can effect certain changes in the way the AI is programmed, because it's still learning. Take, for instance, your child who's 3 years, who has a very high IQ and is learning in school. Teacher tells them something, that's what they believe. They go somewhere, they hear something otherwise. Maybe the teacher was wrong, or maybe you said something at home, and it goes to school, and then the teacher tells them, so this comes from this. It's like, no, my dad says this comes from that. So,
But their teacher is always right too.
so when the teacher manages to convince them, they come home, Daddy, you were wrong. Teacher says it's this, and that's exactly how AIs are. They're not all knowing. So don't think that your chat GPT or your AI system is
You
omniscient.
still got to read through.
You still have to read through. You still have to have an idea of what you're asking it. Otherwise, it's garbage in, garbage out.
But definitely, what we're saying is that don't be entirely lazy. But if you're looking for structure, you're looking for flow of thought, you're looking for some kind of push to start a certain paper or certain academic, endeavor. Clearly, that can help. It gives you an idea.
Absolutely. Yes.
It gives you an idea.
So, if you, I mean, like you said, we've taken certain strides in technology. Right now, computers are ubiquitous. Everybody's using smartphones, and we use them all the time. It's made our lives easy. The same way ChatGPT or any other AI system is going to make our lives easy. But the onus lies on us to be more disciplined about how we use them, not to be over reliant or over dependent on the technology. So, ChatGPT, the GPT in it is a generative preform transformer, which is essentially a pre-trained language model. So a large language model in AI is a model or a form of AI that learns languages in simple terms. So if you take that and you try ChatGPT, you understand why ChatGPT is able to speak as naturally as possible, because it's a natural language processor. It processes language and it's able to respond to you naturally, as versus previous chatbots that answer your questions or answer your prompts with very robotic language. You can't always. I mean, now people who've used ChatGPT a lot can tell when they read ChatGPT text because it has a certain format, it has a certain
format, yeah.
And so you should be able to understand what it said. That's the whole idea, that it should be natural enough for you to understand. So when you take something like that and then you throw it into your customer service, what happens is that now you have a chatbot that can respond to your clients naturally, like a human being. Where, so you'd see something like, if you go to some of these companies, I wrote a couple of examples down, I'll find it. But if anyone has a need for a chatbot for their business that they want to, so let's say a small business, some of these small businesses use WhatsApp, they use Facebook Messenger, they use Instagram Messenger to receive and reply to clients or prospective clients. You can use a service like ChatFuel, which is a chatbot platform that will enable business to create AI-powered chatbots. Now, the reason why you need an AI-powered chatbot is because of this, aforementioned feature.
A step more intelligent than the original.
Exactly. Where the kind of questions it's asked, it doesn't necessarily have to follow a certain format. It's not looking for just the keywords and responding to those keywords. So the fact that somebody said, my transaction did not go through, card was debited, it sees transaction, sees debited, sees not, it knows, okay, negative. That's a traditional chatbot. But maybe there may be a sentence in the word in there that sort of changes the meaning of that whole sentence.
Because of the context in which it's used.
Exactly. A regular chatbot may not be able to detect that and will just give you frequently asked questions, the answers to what happens when your transaction does not go through. But maybe your transaction did not go through, but you received the product anyway. The chatbot did not detect that part because all it was looking for was transaction not through. It means it didn't go through. So telling you what to do to probably redo the order. So with an AI chatbot, you avoid this thing. It just actually does the job of reading through whatever it is that you've written and giving you the answers to that. So, like I mentioned, ChatFuel, that's an app or service that you can employ. It's not free. People need to know some of these things are not free.
But we don't like apps that are paid apps, do we? I mean, so we like the 7-day free trial, the 90-day free trial, and after that we're like, it's not working anymore. Of course it's not working because it's not free. Pay. You know, somebody had to put their brains to this to make it work. And if you're saving money by not employing someone to be answering these questions, just consider that you're making an investment. You're putting in money into your business, into this service that's going to save your business some more money. And it's going to get you more customers, considering the fact that it's always on. I can wake up in the middle of the night and be doing something and need to talk to a customer service. Maybe
the business I'm talking to is in a different time zone. So assuming you're in Ghana, somebody in Australia wants to buy your shea butter, for instance. Their time zone and our time zones,
I'm closed for business.
yes,
My phone.
wapon, but the person needs answers. They sent you a question, you will see the next day, the next morning, reply. They will see it the next evening, reply, and that lengthens the whole conversation. But if you have an AI chatbot that is connected to your socials, like your Facebook Messenger, your Instagram Messenger, your WhatsApp, the person sends a message, they're asking questions. What is in the shea butter? Your AI model is trained to answer these questions, is able to give the responses, and then keep that engagement between you and the clients going. And it could like eventually translate or transform into a sale. It can generate conversions for you. So it's important that you pay attention to some of these things. And if you're a bigger company, maybe you can afford IBM's Watson Assistant. And when you hear IBM, you know it's going to be expensive. So bigger business would probably want to go with that because it also uses natural language processing and machine learning to build intelligent virtual assistants for customer support. The reason why this is good and the reason why it is using machine learning is that it's not going to stop based on what it's been trained with. As it continues to interact with other customers, it learns. And it learns to realize that this is what this person, or this is a recurring question. So that could also be a problem. And it could also give you the feedback. It could give you an analytics on the consistent problems that keep coming up for you to either fix it, because you're realizing that most of the problems that people are calling for is this. If you're relying on a human being like me, I'll forget. And you ask me, so what is the common problem people have? Menkayo. I don't remember. So you want to use, but the computer will always remember because it has the data, unless obviously a bad player or a threat actor hacks your system and then shuts it down, for which reason only you would know. And for sales and lead generation, Salesforce has Einstein, which is a CRM platform that offers predictive lead scoring, personalized recommendation, and sales forecasting. So if you're someone in the sales industry and you're always trying to get leads, you're trying to get clients, if you can afford Salesforce's Einstein, you subscribe to it, it can help you generate leads because it makes personalized recommendations. So based
And that's
on your
enterprise.
products, that's enterprise. So it can help you with possible leads based on the products that you've fed it. So you know your products, and it can tell you based on people's browsing habits that this is what this person may want. This is what this brand is. This is the target market here. So this is where you should focus on. And you can actually use it to generate lead messages or emails. So if you want to do email marketing, you want to send out a broadcast of emails, you can use that to personalize the kind of email you're sending out. So you are guaranteed a conversion or a proper lead generation. And there's one called Gong.io. Gong as in a Gong Gong Beta. Gong.io is also a conversation analytics software that analyzes sales calls and meetings to provide insights. So once you make a sales call, Gong is listening in, and it would let you analyze that call and any meeting to provide insights. And it can even coach your sales team and provide them with tips to improve their performance. So the kind of conversation you have with your clients, Gong is able to tell that this could generate a lead, or this could generate a sale or a conversion, versus, your team needs training. This person needs to improve how they talk to clients. This person needs to reduce their forwardness. Maybe somebody's too forward with the kind of messaging they're trying to put out there. Maybe judging from the person you're listening to, you need to gauge the emotion. You need to gauge the responses to know that I need to tone down. I need to be more empathetic towards this person. I need to be more direct, or I need to figure out what interests this person. All these things. Sales is a very human thing, but AI now can understand some of these things and know whether you're doing the right thing to get you the right lead generation. So,
And I suppose that without saying it, what I hear you also talk about is the fact that there's got to be sincerity of expression.
mhm,
Because assuming the AI is picking all of this data and therefore giving us conclusions, if there is insincerity in any part of the process where I don't say what I mean and I don't mean what I say,
mhm.
then chances are that my conclusions will be wrong.
Yes. So you have to really mean what you say and say what you mean. Absolutely. So yeah, with that, I mean, I like that submission. I think that it does inform a lot of things that people don't take into consideration when they're working with computers or some of these artificially intelligent systems, because we seem to think, oh, it's a computer, but at this point, it is, even though it's not thinking like a human being, it's being made to think like a human being. So it's using neural, networks. It's using machine learning, deep learning, and based on the habits or the way you act, it can learn that. So if you are lying, it can learn to lie.
Yeah, it will learn it.
Yes. So, and we've seen this with other examples where people have deployed chatbots on Twitter, for instance, and the interactions, it learns and it goes rogue. Some of them become very rude and starts, using slur and insults because that's what the humans have trained it with. It's like I mentioned, it's constantly learning.
It's eerie when you say the humans, but I suppose that's where we're going.
That's where we're going, where, you would have to, it'll get to a point where you'd have to be told that this is an AI to know it. And I gave you the example last time when we listened to Google's Duplex, where it sounded so human. Some of the times, to the point that Google had to put a precursor to that conversation. Anytime you picked up a call that was coming from Google Duplex, it will tell you that this is an artificially intelligent assistant called Google Duplex, and then it continues to talk. So if you don't know, then you're talking to a robot, but you think you're talking to a human being. And yeah, that can be, it will get to a point where we'll be in the middle there, where was that a human or a robot? Was that an AI or a human?
But do we suppose, though, that the assimilation process is equally as important as the pursuit of knowledge?
It is as equally important.
And are we doing that? Because I'm inclined to believe that our pursuit of knowledge, currently unknown, which is intriguing, is taking the fore, as opposed to the process of assimilation.
Yes, and if I recall correctly, I think in the beginning we talked about the data that goes into AI, because that is indeed the fuel that powers this AI. And as good the data is, that's as good the response that you would get. Even with the prompts that you give these chatbots, for instance. So any chat GPT or anything like chat GPT that you're using, depending on what you ask it, depending on what you tell it, is what you will get. So if you feed it with good prompts, you'll get a good response. If you train your AI with terrible data, your output is always going to be terrible, because the data. Take, for instance, when ChatGPT came to the fore and it became popular, a lot of people didn't know that the data was dated as far back as 2021. So when you ask it anything in any recent questions, its answers were, for some, instances, were incorrect because they didn't have newer data. So you can't ask it who is the president of Ghana in 2023, unless obviously the data it has predates what it has, and it can make that assumption that, okay, so if a president's tenure is 4 years, and as at when my data ended, it means he should still be in power, so that is it. But then if it doesn't have that data, and maybe the president is a president of an African country and has been president for the past 2,000 years, it would assume that that's the same person. Maybe there's been a coup and that person has been removed. It doesn't have that data. So you would do this research and you'd get the wrong info. Exactly. I got the similar experience when I was writing an article and I wanted to see how AI or ChatGPT or Google Bard or Bing would write that article. So all I did was I fed it points. I didn't write anything of a sentence, just points, names, and the title of the event for which I was writing this article for. It managed to get me the title or the topic that was discussed, the dates that event was held, and I wrote first names of the people that spoke on the panel, and it filled in their full names with their positions. Yes. Where it got it wrong was the positions, because some of these people's positions had changed in very recent times, but they didn't have that data.
So they were getting it from some old data.
Yes, from some old data. So say a person, say you, it would probably say, oh, you're a general manager, when maybe you've now become CEO, right?
Thank you for the prophecy.
So something like that I had to go through. Now, assuming people think that, and people are over dependent or over reliant on this system, they would think that, oh, it's all good, and just copy that information, paste it, submit it as an assignment or as a speech. And imagine the embarrassment when you go to present this and you address somebody as their previous position when
No, they won't take it.
yeah, they won't take it very lightly. I mean, I wouldn't come here and say, "Oh, General Manager Mr. Yaw Barnafo," when he's now CEO. He's like, you know when you hear the throat clearing coming from those quarters, you know you've made an error.
Yeah.
So with something like that, you want to make sure that the data is always updated, and it ensures that you do not make such mistakes. And in a case, I did write the person's position, but not the name, and it took who filled that position at the time when it had the data, and that wasn't the person. So it did get those things right, but mind you, I was blown away when I finished with the article because I didn't have to do any edits besides the names and the positions.
It was quite near accurate.
Absolutely, and my mind was blown. So from that, you can realize that as businesses, then, as Goldman Sachs said, 300 million jobs are at risk. Personal assistants. I wouldn't need somebody to write my speech again because I have an AI model that is trained on data, trained on my style of writing. All I have to do is just connect it to maybe my Google Assistant and just ask it, hey, write me a speech that I'll be delivering tomorrow at XYZ event, and this is the target audience. Use this kind of language, use this tone. I want it to be interactive and creative, add questions in the end, and make it fun and witty. And it would write that. If you want to try that right now, you can do that on your own. Go to ChatGPT, chat.openai.com, bard.google.com, or go to Bing and just try it. Ask the AI to
Let's
write a
put
speech.
those URLs out again and very slowly. We just
Okay.
want to try this thing out because once we get familiar with it, we can now begin to apply them to our businesses. So what are those URLs again?
So if you want to use ChatGPT, it's chat.openai.com.
Okay.
And if you want to use Google's version of that, it's bard, as in BARD, .google.com. Or you can use Bing. Bing is Microsoft's version of Google, Microsoft's search engine. And Bing has AI, ChatGPT, built directly into it. So you can just go to Bing and try that as well. A reason why I use all three is because they are very similar but different. They give different answers, they give different approaches. So I mix and match as and when. And it's very good.
If you're listening to us right now, this is Masterclass here on your Superstation Joy 99.7. I'd like for you to try these URLs out because we'll be getting interactive shortly. I want to see what your experience is when you try these out. How did you find them, and how do you think we can bring them to our businesses and apply them to our businesses to make them better? Kobby, I mean, you're talking about all of this AI and all that. Let's give just one example, maybe, if you will, maybe after we come back from the break. And I just want to be able to draw the inference from all of this conversation back to our businesses so that on the everyday there's someone sitting 10 meters away from Joy FM right now. They're listening to us. They are into, they sell shoes, they sell shirts. I mean, they make bags and all of that. All of this talk about AI. How really does it affect me between now and 6 p.m.? How can I make use of it? Before you answer that question though, we'll take a quick message from our sponsors. When we come back, we get interactive. Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, this is Masterclass here on your Superstation Joy 99.7. We're here in the studio with Kobby, Spiky, and Nkrumah, and we're talking about artificial intelligence in business. Phone lines are now open. Numbers to call 0302 216 541. That's 0302 216 541. You can also send us your comments on 055 997. Let's talk about AI in business, how you can make your work easier. We're talking about the greatest resource in business, which is time. We're talking about efficiency of process and how you can use AI to shorten all of that and yet optimize your gains beyond what they are now. Numbers to call again, 0302 216 541, or send us your comments on 055 997. Just also remind you that today's edition of Masterclass is brought to us by Goyle. Goyle, good energy, Goyle, Yenara, Yedia, and also by JL Properties. JL Properties, the city's favorite developer. If you have any motor vehicle of any kind, the oil marketing company of choice, Goyle, keeps making life ever so convenient. Goyle now accepts Momo for all fuel purchases. Just remember to Momo it at Goyle. Visit Goyle's social media platforms, Facebook, Goyle.official, or Instagram at Doyle_GH, and Twitter on Goyle_official. For more information on service stations, you can conveniently use Momo. Goyle, good energy. Goyle, Yenara, Yedia. If you're looking to own a home of any kind, then JL Properties has the right answer for you. Owning a home in a serene, strategic neighborhood should not be a luxury, but a necessity. And at JL Properties, we make that dream a reality. JL Properties has been building homes for over a decade. Enjoy the ease of owning a fully complete home or choose from our off-plan packages. Visit us today at www.jlpropertiesgh.com or call us on 0509 542 973 or 0302 449 037. JL Properties, the city's favorite developer. Phone lines are now open. Numbers to call 0302216541. That's 0302216541. Or you can also send us your comments on 05511119997. Kobby, while we wait for the phone lines to ring, maybe we have some additional content. Let's try and share it quickly. And I think the thoughts that we're sharing right before the break, let's sort of talk about them quite a bit, and then we can.
You were mentioning how the person has a very small shop, maybe a thrift shop or a shoe seller or a spare parts dealer, can leverage AI, because some of these things, when we hear them, we think that, oh, it's so far-fetched, it's out of this world.
Can we talk them through it now? Maybe an example. Pick up your phone, is an iPhone, is an Android, and do what?
So, first off, they need to change the mindset towards technology.
Breathe and say, mindsets change.
It's not that, complicated. It's not something that you can't do. It's fairly easy. And one such thing that I think a lot of businesses do that they could digitize, first off, that they should have digitized. If they have digitized, then good. You can now implement AI. It's inventory management. Inventory management is, I think, one of the most important things that every business that deals in sales. So if you're someone who sells thrifts, maybe you sell clothes, it would be important that you digitize that first. Digitize your inventory. Stop writing in that singing notebook, the small notebook. You write.
The day that notebook gets missing. Or it flats, your home flats.
And then you write the person who's owing you next to it. So you write the person's name and the amount of, the credits you gave them. You need to put that into, and you can use your phone. So there are so many tools to digitize this data or that database.
What do you say to the person who says, Obibi, we have phone?
Cloud storage.
Exactly. That's why I wanted you to go.
Once you put these things on it, almost all of them are connected to the cloud. And when I say almost, unless maybe, even if you use Excel, it's still connected to the cloud. Now, something as simple as taking that inventory, storing it in the cloud, Obi, we have phone and you still got it. Unlike your singing notebook that it's gone. But the advantage here is that it allows you to optimize your stock levels. So, it gives you a notification. It's like when you're talking on the phone and they tell you have 1 minute remaining, you have to buy credits. So imagine they never told you that, and then you had an emergency, you pick up your phone to make a call, and then it tells you that your credits is finished.
When they tell you have 1 minute remaining, sometimes you can determine that you're not going to start a certain conversation because you won't finish it.
Exactly.
Or you can just say, I have enough time to say, I tell you what, let's talk in the evening.
Exactly. So you've got that.
So that's
60
helpful.
Seconds. That's helpful for you to get that salient point across. Maybe when you call the person, because of the quote-unquote inchia, all those greetings, you ended up consuming most of the credits. Now the main issue you weren't able to talk about. So you could tell the person, I actually meant to discuss this with you. Can you call me back, or I'll call you back?
So let's put it this way. Download that AI right now. Try it as we are, explaining. And it will tell you things about your business you never thought existed. You think you see it all now. You think you know the number of shoes you bought. You know the number of shoes in stock, how much you sold and all of that. Maybe those are the obvious things. What we're saying is that when you use the AI, it can give you an analytic of your whole process that you have never looked at before. For example, I was here on the show when someone came and said, if you're a business which exists on credit, you can have pushed all your product out at the end of the month. People will be owing you money, but you won't have liquidity to pay your staff.
Exactly.
So are you in a good place as a business? Because you need to pay your staff. So you need both liquidity and sales.
Yes.
And this process can analyze the data and tell you. So you need 30% of your money in liquidity because that's how much you need as overheads. And you can have the rest in sales. But you can't do sales outstanding for more than 15 or 21 days because it affects your cycle. That analytic, you don't get to see when you are just looking at your ledger.
Yeah, absolutely. Or your singing notebook.
So please, let's talk somebody through that. It's really dear to my heart. Let's talk about somebody's listening to us. They want to test it and see whether all of this thing we are saying works. Let's talk somebody through it right now.
So personally, I use a service called Zoho. So Zoho. and it's a complete CRM software. I use it to send out invoices, and I use it to mark when people have paid me. It tells me how long I sent out this invoice, how long for the person to pay. Even when they pay you part, you can indicate it in there, and it makes life easy. I'm not always now wondering who owes me, or going to check a book. Maybe I wrote Yaw, and it's not Yaw Barnafo, but it's Yaw Asari or somebody else. I need to have those names in there in their emails when I sent it. And what it does is it also helps me track how many invoices I sent month on month. It helps me track which part of my business I'm doing more of. So if I realize based on the data that I have been doing more of, say, services than products and selling products, and maybe I should focus more on that. It reduces, time wastage. It makes me more efficient. It makes me more productive. So with a software like that, and there's more. There's others. There's Inflow Inventory, which is also an inventory management software that is for businesses on a limited budget. I must include this because if you are in wholesale, retail, distribution, manufacturing, even e-commerce, you can use something like that to track your inventory because it'll help you reduce errors. You're not making mistakes based.
So let's do the Zoho one. They pick up their phone and they do it.
Yeah, so you just go to your store and just type Zoho.
So either App Store or Google Store.
Or even in your browser. Go to Zoho.com and then you can sign up. So there are certain premium features and there's a basic features. The basic features, honestly, I believe are enough for anyone running a small
And what
business.
will Zoho do for them? I just want them to try Zoho and tell us about it later.
Good. So you try it. You would set up your business, first of all. Once you're done setting up your business, you can even add your tax, components over there for
the GRA will be happy to hear this one.
Yeah, so for your invoicing and everything, it helps you calculate your tax. So any amount of any quote you put there, it adds a tax automatically. You can set up different types of tax components in there. Then you can add clients. So when you add a client, you add a contact person there, you add their email and everything. It also helps because when you're engaging with that client, when a client makes a payment, it actually, when you enter that you've received a payment, it actually gives you a notification to send a thank you, which is something that I believe that companies that do. If somebody worked for me and I paid them and they sent me an email saying thank you, I feel like, wow, they feel appreciative of the fact that I paid them. That means that I'd like to do business with them some more.
Yeah.
That kind of interpersonal relationship has been created, and it's no longer like a business to business thing. It makes it more personal. And for you, the business, the benefits of this is that you can now track how much business you did with, say, Spiky, and you can tell how much money Spiky's made. So at the end of the year, when you want to be sending out your hampers, you're not sending to Abeku who just bought from you once, but you're sending to those who matter, and you have the analytics as well.
Not that Abeku doesn't matter, but
not that Abeku doesn't matter, but
example.
In this case, he bought once, I bought 10.
Right.
I like giving real life examples.
I'd like for somebody to try it. I'd like for one of my listeners to actually try it, test it. Go to your Google App Store or wherever, whether you're using an Android or an iPhone. Test it. Do this Zoho thing we're talking about, and upload some data from your business. Now look at the reports that it gives you. Test it for this week, between now and next week. And when we come back next week, share with us what your specific experience is. If there are also listeners today who are listening to us or who are watching us live on Facebook who already know how to do this and you're doing it and it's working for you, what we're trying to do is to be able to share knowledge. We always say that life is too short to make all the mistakes yourself. Please give us a call when we get interactive. I think I've got enough time to take just one more phone call. Call me now or call me next week and share those thoughts so that we can help other businesses who think that this is too far-fetched to become more efficient. Because together we become stronger, together we stand. Kobby, I have a quick question for you. Will AI take away our personal time and lives while we pursue the endless cycle of uptime? Because it's now in your face, in your life, and you don't need to go sit in an office. You're always in an office. Is that a threat of AI?
I don't think that's a threat of AI. I honestly think that if people use AI well, it rather gives them more time. Like, I have more time to be more human now. Rather than, imagine if I had to prepare for this session and I had to do it all on my own and I didn't have the luxury of technology, but even better at AI, I would have had to be going through links, say, because maybe I don't work in a certain industry, so I don't understand the operations there. I have to go and read about it, read the multiple areas. But now with AI, I could just ask it, how is AI being implemented in, let's say, manufacturing? and it tells me, and I can ask it questions about that manufacturing process. So let's say CNC, how can I replace CNC automation with AI? And maybe somebody's done a white paper on it. It can summarize that for me. I don't have to go read that whole white paper. But if I have the knowledge of, let's say, how the technology is supposed to work, that summary opens my mind to all those possibilities, giving me more time to be human, giving me more time to enjoy my life, rather than, yeah, I would have spent 12 hours in a day on research for maybe just 30 minutes. You have a tool now that is able to compact all that and make it easy. So in an office, for instance, an AI is helping you. Instead of sending that email, now Microsoft 365 comes with Copilot. For those who use 365, you probably know how to use the Copilot. If you have it right now, you know it can analyze your email. It can even go to a meeting on your behalf and summarize what was said in the meeting. So I'm in the meeting, but I'm distracted because maybe I have to write a report. I'm not listening to everything. So at the end, I ask Copilot, hey, what was said in the meeting? And it gives me a whole point.
I've got a quick question on social media. This one is from Tema, from Kwame. He says that, how do I locate Zoho on my Huawei phone?
I'd want to assume that Huawei, meaning that he doesn't have the Play Store.
Yes.
So he's probably using App Gallery. Check the App Gallery. If it's not in the App Gallery, you would have to look for the APK. Now, that is a very risky thing to do because sometimes certain threat actors or certain bad people, or hackers, if I should use that term, can embed viruses in an APK. An APK is the application package that you install. So when you download something from Play Store, it comes as an APK and installs on your phone. But you can download it on the internet. So check your App Gallery. If it's not there, maybe join the Geek Squad group on Telegram and we can help you out.
Yeah, so how do they do that?
t.me/joygeeksquad. It's a Telegram group. Just go into your browser.
Can you say that again slowly?
t.me/joygeeksquad. So you go into your browser, just type that. Or go to Telegram and search for Joy Geek Squad. There are lots of geeks there who can help you solve this. So
Brilliant.
that you don't go and download virus on your phone and say, Spiky made me download that.
I've got another one from Philip Aboti from Qatar. Philip says, good afternoon, my good friends at Joy FM. I just loved education on technology. Using my phone to do business, it's very easy to take stock. Philip, what I'd like for you to do is next week when we get interactive, pick up that phone, call us, and tell Ghana how you are using technology on your phone to make your work easy, so that when people hear that others have been able to do it, it makes it easy. Kobby, what should we take away from today's conversation? What should we look forward to next week?
That you're not actually limited to a big, powerful computer to do your small business. Your smartphone, there are tools that you can install on your smartphone, most of them AI powered, that you can use to just make your process more efficient, make you as a person more productive, reduce wastage, make sure that your stock is always up to date and you're not running out of stock and you're not saying some is not there.
What are we looking forward to next week?
So next week we will still talk more about some of these tools because there's so many other tools that we can talk about that businesses can leverage, and some of them are affordable. It's paying just $5 to $10 for some of these features to improve your business. I think it's a good deal.
It's pathetic when you go to some businesses and they say the computer is broken down, so we can't print a receipt. What we're saying is that we've gone past that now. You can do all of that electronic. If you have an iPhone, you have an Android phone, you can do that. This has been Masterclass here on your Superstation. We're spending time with Kobby, Spiky, and Nkrumah of Geek Squad, talking about artificial intelligence is business. It's not in business. It's not too far away. You can also do it and optimize your gains and minimize your overheads. My name, as always, is Yaw Barnafo. This has been Masterclass. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you same time next week.